forward to getting to the court again and see if we can, build off the Dayton experience, that game. I thought defensively, especially that first half, I thought we probably played defense as well as we had all year. We kept Dayton out of sync in what they wanted to do. We had great ball movement offensively. We shared the basketball, and hopefully there's a continuation of that. And, one of the things I talked about in the press conference was us limiting our turnovers. We had some unforced turnovers, and that, if you're going to be one of the better teams in the country, you got to eliminate that. So that's what we've been working on this week, trying to make sure our defense continues to be the strength of our basketball team. Our defense is what we hang our hats on, and offensive execution.
Michael, what kind of season do you think Anton Beard's had for you so far?
Well, I think a typical freshman. I think each and every game he's getting better. I think he's taking steps forward to becoming the player that we think he can be. One thing he does not lack confidence, and I like that about him. He's a guy that would get in there and get gritty and dirty, and I love those kind of players.
How's it playing down there in North Little Rock and the atmosphere down there, seeing as how they only get the one game?
There's a lot of excitement. To me, it's a fun atmosphere. The fans, I think they relish the Razorbacks coming down there, and they show up, and to me, they show out. So it's an opportunity for some of our guys that are from that area, their family, their friends. A lot of them went to high school in that area there. So it's so for those guys, it's like a homecoming, so to speak. But I want to make sure our guys stay focused on the task at hand. It should be a lot of energy in the building. Southeast Missouri State comes in with an experienced basketball team. I think they have like 6 seniors. So it's a team that's a very dangerous team. They have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And of course, Dickie Nutt is coaching their team, and I think the games they've lost, they've been a lot of close games. So it's going to be interesting to see how we come out and how we perform after having finals and juggling our schedule and just seeing if our guys have learned some lessons from the previous 9 games.
Second half against Dayton concern you at all, and as far as learning lessons, where they kind of took their foot off the gas pedal a little bit?
Well, I thought we still had the same mindset from a defensive standpoint and execution. I think we just missed some shots. I thought we had a lot of turnovers. We had, I think at halftime we had 7 turnovers. We ended up with 16, so that tells you we got a little sloppy. So we've got to have more periods like it was in that first half. We've got to have more minutes where we're doing the right things, because to me, the key is going to be having guys come in and give us some efficient minutes, quality minutes. So therefore, it eliminates some of those mistakes that we had in that particular game. And free throws. We got to the free throw line. We missed some free throws. But we beat a good team, beat a good Dayton team. And you just want to build on it and continue to take some steps forward.
I know last year with Bobby, it almost seemed like at times he was almost a reluctant leader, kind of tentative in terms of taking over a leadership role with the older guys. So what have you seen from this year, and how has he changed and kind of grown into that role?
I think with his play, being one of the better players on the team, I think he's kind of demanding it a little bit more. He's speaking. He's saying some things that probably last year he wouldn't have said, and so that tells me that there's some he's maturing maybe into that role. But I think he does it by playing as well. I think he does it from a standpoint how he plays, but more importantly, he's starting to vocalize it as well.
When you get a guy like him who's so highly recruited, how's it different coaching a guy like him now maybe compared to a Corliss back in the day? I mean, are you having conversations with him regularly about his future? Did you have those kind of conversations with Corliss, or was it just kind of wait until the time came? How's it different coaching a guy like that?
To me, it's very similar to Corliss. Corliss Corliss enjoys college, man. This kid's enjoying school. So it's more you guys talking about it than it is him. And but he's enjoyed it, and it's interesting that you say that, because Corliss is his mentor. Here's a kid that mentored by Corliss, and played for one of his AAU teams, and But I think he just kind of taken his stride. I mean, we have talks, weekly talks, but more importantly, we talk about school and what's taking place here. We don't worry about that. Most important time right now is what's taking place on the court right now. And I got to give Bobby a lot of credit. He's staying focused on that. Enjoying being a college student, trying to get the highest GPA on the team, going to class, and spending time in the gym. And I think the payoff is he's playing some of his better basketball right now.
Mike, specifically, what's Anton done to get minutes, and what sort of areas do you want him to get better at?
I think Anton is, first of all, he don't predicate his game on offense. So that means he's coming with a defensive mindset, guarding people. He's in the right place at the right time on defense. He don't mind getting down there and getting dirty. And so and he moves the basketball. He's not afraid to take a big shot. He can get to the free throw line, he attacks. So he's just doing all the little things. And those little things are adding up, to playing time. I mean, that's the group he came with initially was Manuel, and you had Ja'Cory, and you had Anton, you had Jabril, and Moses, and those were like a blue-collar group. And so he's bringing a blue-collarness to our basketball team with toughness,
But you guys had great first-half success against Dayton. How can you transition that for game against South East Missouri State and continue to have that?
That's what I want to see. I think with this week's of preparation, I want to see how we come in with the against Southeast Missouri State. And I got a feeling we've had a pretty good, even with finals going on, I think, our guys have been pretty attentive. These guys have got humble real quick, especially going to Iowa State and then the Clemson game. And so we know we got a lot of room to grow. We've got a lot of things we've got to get better at. We're not where we're going to be, but I like to see us continue to take steps forward. We took a step back. Now let's see if we can continue to take steps forward.
That being said, you don't go on the road till January 6th. How do you work on, while you're doing this stretch, things that will help you, and what do you think are the biggest things you have to improve on to go on the road and have success?
I think our defense is going to, everything starts with defense. And I just thought our approach at Iowa State was offense. I thought our approach at Clemson was offense. We shot, I think in that game, I think the first 8 shots, 7 were 3-point shots. It was a different mindset against a Dayton. We attacked the basket. Matter of fact, we shot probably less threes than we have in most games. And so we're an attacking team. And as we attack the basket and get everyone trying to guard the inside, and then it opens up the outside. We make shots, get to the free throw line. In the Dayton game, we rebounded the basketball. We got to the offensive glass. So we did a lot of good things, and that's what we want to continue to build on. So as we go forward, you got more time to prepare and practice, and we'll use that to our advantage because they're done with finals. Now you got the whole attention. You got the complete attention. We'll do some tour-days and hopefully have everything in that we want to at this particular time, and continue to move forward. With 4 games left, it'll give me an opportunity to play some other guys and play some different combinations. But more importantly, I've had an opportunity to see who's going to be the core guys. I think that's the one that's big, having that core group. And as we've seen in this non-conference schedule, Moses has gotten so much better. It's unbelievable. And so having him more ready, having Ja'Cory more ready, all that does is add more and more depth to our team.
Dickie, that's, I guess, it's 6th season there, and they've won more games every year. What kind of program do you think he's built there? And it's pretty solid Ohio Valley team.
He's done a good job. He's gotten a lot of transfer, got a lot of in there. He's got a lot of older guys. One of his best players, which was one of the kids I had, Tyler Stone, that transferred to him. I think he's played overseas for him, but he was the first team all-conference player for him last year. And he's got some Memphis kids, and I know the kids coming to Memphis, they tend to know how to play the game. But I think he's gotten a lot of older guys, and that helps you as you get your program established. He's done a good job, really good job. I think they were picked to be finished second in their division in that league. So that tells you they're coming here with an experienced team, and so they won't back up. They won't be afraid. And so we got our work cut out for us in that game.
Moses and Ja'Cory emerging, kind of what do you look for from Alandis for him to stay in the...
Well, I tell you what, Landis the other day, that's probably the most relaxed I've seen him out on the floor. I mean, he looked like the player that I thought he was, and so he didn't start out, so he came off the bench. And if you recall last year, he came off the bench last year and played some of his better basketball. So we'll see how that continues. But I just thought Ja'Cory just gave us a jolt in that lineup. I thought Jabril gave us a jolt of energy in that lineup, and we got off to a pretty good start. And the guys that came off, Kai came off the bench, Alandis came off the bench, and I thought they did well. And with me, I got 8, 9 starters, so it don't matter about starting. You want to have playing time. I think that's the biggest key. But those guys, it was you could see a difference when those guys were out there.
Looked good in the red-white game, the exhibition game, then you're kind of wondering, or at least I was, is he going to be able to take that into the season? And he's done a pretty nice job. How do you think he's played and carried over what he did early into what you guys are doing now?
I'm glad you said that you wondered. I didn't, because we see it every day. We see it every day in practice. So it's just a matter of, the game slowing down for him. Him understanding, what he brings to the table. And he's a tough matchup. When he's playing well, he's a tough matchup. He's one of our better players out there on the press in terms of guarding a guard, guarding a forward. He handles the ball well in the open floor when he doesn't try to do too much. He's great in transition. I mean, he's going to be the guy on the receiving end of a lot of passes. And as I said the other day, in the first half, he had 3 assists. And because of the ball movement, he was the guy that was making entry passes or making passes to guys shooting the basketball. So his versatility is big, and he plays with an attitude, and I like that attitude.
How good is to see a guy like the lights kind of come on from after a couple of years? He's doing what he's kind of reaching his potential. Looks like that.
Well, if you don't do that, then you got some young guys coming. You got to remember now. If the lights don't come on at some point in time, your time is going by the wayside. Now somebody else is coming. That's why I said next. Who's next in line? So it's amazing. The motivator is the bench, and it can motivate a lot of guys in a lot of different ways. But those guys, like I said, I thought Ja'Cory it's just his time. Some guys mature a little quicker than others.
You get called probably every day on the radio about playing Bobby and Moses together. You obviously swap them in and out a lot. Talk about the positives of swapping them in and out as opposed to positives of playing them together.
Well, what are we getting? We're getting quality minutes out of both of them, I think. I think if you look at Moses, he's probably the most efficient guy on our basketball team. And his minutes will continue to go up. And I think as we get into this part of the season on the conference play, you'll see those guys playing together. I think they complement each other. Again, we got a lot of parts, and so we're piecing all those guys together. I think the key is those guys continue to develop and give us positive minutes. Moses, what can you say? On defense, he's a rim protector. Now he's showing his offensive wear. I mean, pushing the ball up the floor and making good decision with the basketball, and hopefully the scoring will continue to come. And you get those two guys out there, that can cause some problems. They can play volleyball, if they're playing the right way. So that's just a building process. But you'll see it. You'll see more of it.
We're not doing a press conference Sunday. Do you know anything about Wisconsin, Milwaukee at all?
Yeah, they're a good basketball team. I saw them play earlier. I think they played Auburn. I saw them. I think they played Auburn. And they have some veteran players. There are a lot of guys, versatile guys that can step out and shoot the basketball. And they played a tough schedule. They played on the road. So coming here during that time, right before Christmas, they felt they got a real good basketball team. Got size. It was 6'10", 6'11" kid. That's really, really good. And they got some skill. The guards are really, really good. So it's going to be as I said, don't look at the names and don't let the names fool you. Everybody's got players. And so you look at the New Jersey team. I mean, they got players. Eastern Michigan, Eastern Washington. Everyone has players. So, I have to make sure our guys don't get caught up in looking at the names, because everybody got players. With all the transfers that are taking place in this country, I mean, a lot of kids are transferring here and transferring there. And so those teams are getting good players. And we're seeing that.
You mentioned the word toughness several times today, and I've heard it now. What do you, when you state toughness, what is that to you, and how does beer fit in that?
Well, toughness to me is as things get tougher, those guys kind of harden up and say, hey, we're not going to let this happen. I mean, it's like you're imposing your will on someone else, or someone, let's say a team is making a run at you, and you guys huddle up and say, we're not going to let that happen. And I just remember a play the other night. There's a rebound that goes up, and there's a 6'7" guy, 6'8" guy. One of our guys about 6'8". And the guy that comes up with the ball is Anton Beard. He's always around the ball. Toughness, taking a charge. I mean, some guys won't take a charge. They may get one every now and then because they can't get out the way, but for the most part, guys that will stand in there. And I've seen, and the guy that's really showing me a lot of that is Bell. Bell is on a lot of charges that take place. Landis Harris, I'll talk about him, the toughness. To me, those guys, they go out there and really mix it up and won't back down from anyone. Defensively, in their mind, they say, you know what, we're not going to let you have a great game. We're not going to do that. So they don't back down. Clay, it's just heart. I think it's more about heart than anything else. And I think we got more guys that are like that.